There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex. It's a big no-no. Big no-no. Sex equals death, okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs.
Yeah.
It's a sin factor. It's a sin. It's an extension of number 1. And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
Well, I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
Oh. See, you push the laws and you end up dead. Okay, I'll see you in the kitchen with cheat codes. Hi, everybody. It's September 3rd, 2015. This is episode 61 of the Cheat Codes podcast. The next hour is us enjoying a couple beers and going over our favorite bits. I'm back as your host, Joe Erskine. That's my name. I was wrongfully reported to be deceased. The weird plant that I ate just put me in a coma-like state that also slowed my heart to an undetectable rate. But I'm totally fine now. It was a nice nap. I'm here with today the Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Last House on the Left, Arroyo.
What the fuck was that? Hi.
Cheat Codes and contributor, Mr. Nikk, Nightmare on Elm Street, Golesh.
Hey, how's it going?
And Cheat Codes community manager and Boss Key Jr. game designer, Mr. Chris, The Hills Have Eyes Morris.
That's an exceptionally long title, dude.
Well, we had to do it right, and we'll understand why later.
He didn't fuck up that one, but he messed up mine.
Today in the show, we're going to be drawing on the following topics. PAX is in the bag for another year. We're going to try and go over the stuff we saw, heard, and played. Someone should get an orthopedic shoe booth in there because they'd make a killing. My feet still hurt.
Old man.
Yeah. Pokemon wants you to know that they hate parties, specifically ones thrown without their permission. They use Pokemon as a theme, whatever. Pikachu uses dick move. Is 2015 the best year for console games since the last generation? One Xbox dev thinks so. Who let the conjecture out?
That was really bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's what you meant to say. For today's lightning round, we'll quickly chime in on the following. So Jimmy Kimmel doesn't get game streaming. He's probably not alone. This should be surprising no one. The hottest toy of the upcoming holiday season, it's a ball. Robotic, sure, but a ball nonetheless. What the fuck is Slave Tetris, and why does it sound as bad as you think it does? And finally, we say goodbye and pay homage to the great Wes Craven. Does it make sense now, Chris?
It does.
For the titles of
Hills
the
Have
names?
Eyes.
It's just a long title.
It is long, but we had to do it right.
Isn't there a porno called The Hills Have Size?
Did you know that Wes Craven... Wow. That's where Wes Craven started his career, actually, in porn. For the purposes of fueling the burgeoning conversation, we're enjoying a few beers. We do this because we can, and frankly, because we want to. Today, we're sampling some Universal Pale Ale from the Fremont Brewing Company right here in Seattle. It's pale.
It's universal.
And whatever, easy drinking. It's hitting the spot. Before we get started, we're excited to announce the winner of our latest Steam Key giveaway. If you retweeted the episode 60, you got yourself in the running for the key for the new game Nova 111 from Fucktronic Labs, with sound design from former Cheat Codes guest Jack Menhorn.
Sound like it said Fucktronic Labs.
Funktronic Labs.
With an N.
I mean, I know you didn't, but man, you really glossed over the N on that one.
Sorry. Just trying to rush through it. The winner is...
Drum roll.
Yeah. We need to get a sound effect for that. Yeah. At MCG Woody.
Yay,
Congratulations, buddy. We'll be giving away more Steam keys in the coming weeks, so keep listening to hear when the next Steam giveaway is. All right, guys. How was your week? It's okay?
It was good. I
PAX.
had a good week.
Back at school?
PAX.
Fuck that.
I didn't have to go to school.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of want to go over there and just like walk through pointing and laughing at everyone that's still there, but I won't do that because that's mean.
It's pretty mean.
A little bit.
Just let me know when you're going to do it so I'm not there,
Uh-oh.
because I'll just feel bad.
I'll come and give you a big hug.
Thanks, buddy. All right, PAX. It happened.
Again.
Big as life and twice as ugly. Every year it seems to happen, right? I mean, am I crazy or what?
We can't stop it.
Yeah. It was actually pretty good this year.
It was a good PAX.
It was.
I only did it for like 5 hours, and I felt like that was the best dose I could have gotten. But I compared to the past, couple of years that we've all been, I don't know. I felt really good about this one. There's a lot of good stuff happening. I don't know. I think we'll do a little round the horn here, guys. I think we all went on different days, and definitely saw a bunch of different stuff. I feel like this is maybe how we should have done it all along, but I don't know. I think we can all agree that the indie booth is the best thing at PAX, at least as far as we're concerned. It's nice to see all the big AAA shit too, and like the fanfare and the fucking glitz and glamour and all that crap. But I don't know. I feel like all the best gems are kind of like I don't know. The thing keeps getting bigger every year, but the best stuff is always right there.
It's nice even to see some of our friends showing off. Like actually, quite a decent number of friends showing off games over there.
I think this might have been the reason why we enjoyed it so much, was because you cruise the floor and all the people that were your colleagues throughout school and stuff like that, we're all kind of getting out of it and into the professional realm, and we get to see them in their element. And it's really neat to walk around to every a booth at the indie mega booth and see somebody working on something and following their dreams and making something happen. It's fucking cool. I think that's what made it so special this year. I don't know.
Despite being a student still, I feel like I got a glimpse of what it's like to experience it as a professional in a way that, like, I feel like all these people that work in this industry, they go to these conventions because they get to kind of like hook up with some friends that they had or worked with in different companies or whatever. And it felt like that because, like, I was seeing people at the Digipen booth and I was seeing people at that are working professional jobs now at their booths and everything else. And it felt more like a meet and greet get together with like a reunion of ways, as opposed to just like, oh, I'm going to go check out and play some games and stand in line and do the whole like, plebeian experience. You know what I mean? Not to sound derogative, but that's how it felt,
It was fun. It was definitely a lot of the right amount of packs that I needed, I think. Like
one day.
Yeah, it was one day, and we got
two, actually.
Well, we didn't get to go onto the floor the other day or something.
We didn't have to go onto the
floor. Yeah. We saw Lawbreakers the other day, and then we went up to go see all the other stuff the next day.
Do the proper expo.
Though, honestly, like, it was cool seeing a lot of people there, but I felt like it was a lot of repeats from the previous years or something. All the games that I've seen were games that already I thought maybe came out or something, like Metal Gear Solid 5.
I knew you were going to say that. If you listen to the last episode,
it was a big build up for a simple delivery. I gotta tell you.
It's like, you guys, Dreadnought's a big game or something that's coming out. It's like, do you guys remember seeing that?
Like, I remember you guys playing it last year. I remember
the year before that. I feel like
maybe, I don't know, about 2 years ago.
It's all a blur.
That's fine. Yeah. But I actually that was on my list because I didn't actually get to play it, but I saw it and I talked to a few people that did play it and they were fucking loving that shit.
Yeah, it looks fun. We sat down to play it for like the last time they were gonna last round, and the server like shut down or something.
Maybe they shut it down because they thought they were done.
Yeah,
fuck these guys.
Yeah, and then it's not just the big titles though, like Dreadnought or something. I guess if you call that a big title, it is, I think. But some of the indie titles were there multiple times again. Also, like
it's kind of weird to see Super Meat Boy.
I was just going to say, Team Meat was there doing the same game again.
There's nothing bad about that.
No, not at all.
It's one of those things I don't really expect out of PAX. I expect people to be spending money on those booths to like show a new game, and a game like Super Meat Boy that's already incredibly popular, I don't think they really have a lot to gain for showing the game again. I think
it makes sense for like some of the other ones like Distance, Foresight of Fantasy, Process, because they just want to make sure people still know like, hey, we exist, we're still working on the game. Look, we've made a whole lot of progress since last year. Like, please look forward to us, coming out hopefully soon.
Some of it's like maintaining that grandfathered like floor space too. Like, you got to keep buying the booth to make sure like when you actually do something new, you still got that booth space.
That's probably true. I agree with you. I definitely don't have anything negative to say about people who want to keep showing up.
To Nick's point though, like repeat stuff is going to happen.
I think it's odd. I just feel like some of the games that I saw in the indie booth, like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to say like, oh, they should have completed it already or something, but their games seem simple enough and complete enough last year that I was a little bit surprised that it didn't come out, or some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of how demos work, though.
Well, yeah, demos, I mean, they did a good job, I guess, with like showing their demo last year, I guess, that I didn't know how far they weren't, I guess.
but to
then they did a good job.
Yeah. To counterpoint that, though, there was stuff in there that I hadn't seen before, especially in the indie booth. But
there were
and stuff that I've been waiting to see and actually get my hands on too, like Below, for instance, from the Capybara Games, the guys who did like Swords and Sorcery and stuff, or they helped on that, and they've done a bunch of other stuff, like Super Time Force, whatever. We kept hearing about this forever. Like, we had Phil Spencer wearing a Cappy shirt for like the Xbox One reveal, you know what I mean? And now we're finally starting to see what Below is looking like. That looked fucking dope as hell. I can't wait to get my hands on that. There's a bunch of stuff like
but Spy Party's been there for like 3 or 4 years or something. I feel
but Spy Party one is interesting because you keep walking past the same area and it's like, hey, there's Spy Party again.
Love that, but it's like, I think it's only like one guy making that. You know what I mean? So it doesn't like surprise me.
I think it's like maybe a couple, but it's like Chris Hacker's like the main.
Yeah. I agree. Like, there is this kind of
I look forward to seeing Spy Party.
It's like, oh, there's hey, Spy Party. How's it going?
It's cool because I think PAX is not so much about reveals sometimes. I think, like, sometimes we like it to be about reveals, but it's like a showcase of like people playing games and people wanting to play games. It's called Penny Arcade Expo. Like, you go there to play games, and So I don't know.
It's an excellent point, Nick.
Yeah, I make lots of points.
I think. All right. So what else? Indie booth wise, Enter the Gungeon looks pretty great. It's a gun that fights time. It's pretty amazing. Four-Sided Fantasy. You mentioned that before. Good to see Logan there doing his thing.
Mushroom 11 in Versus.
Sure.
That Valhalla bartender visual novel game. The writing on that was like excellent.
And Distance, like I think, had the biggest. I don't know, at least the flashiest presence in the Indie Mega booth.
Yeah, I saw their Twitter abuzz leading up to the event.
Yeah.
And boy, they spent a ton of time on their booth shit.
Yeah, I guess Jordan like programmed all that lighting stuff, which is pretty.
But they had that as part of like the cabinet, the video game cabinet last year, and now it's like a full on part of the booth.
Yeah, they ramped it up,
scaled up, man. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
The new Target look they showed off for Due Process looked amazing.
I wanted to get over there, and I didn't get a chance to go see those guys.
It's not playable, but they have the images up for what they're. It
was like a real time walkthrough in Unity of like a level.
Yeah. So it's there. It's just they're probably pretty smart about not trying to just force it in if it wasn't perfectly ready to show off. Well,
I don't know about you guys, but I try to make it a point to go and do like podcast relevant visits to booths or like stuff that I thought was going to be cool. You know what I mean? And like that was the one that I wanted to go do, and I just didn't get a chance. Like go like high five Alex and say what's up at Due Process.
Yeah, we went over and talked to Alex.
But I didn't get the chance to do that. So it's good that you did.
That's bad on your part.
It kind of is, but what are you going to do?
Host fail.
Yeah, maybe. I think we all got a chance to go and fucking hug Chris and congratulate him on Lawbreakers. Is that right?
What's up, Rollywood?
Thank you for. Oh God! Thank you for coming by. Oh, you're wearing that break free shirt. Oh my God!
Just saying.
Are they American Apparel?
They're great shirts.
I don't know
because they're soft as hell to the point where I might need to hit you up for another one because my wife stole it.
She's
and is now wearing it every fucking day.
I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I don't know what they are. Rohan, our community guy, he did an awesome job. I think he made the whole design and got the shirts printed and everything.
Yeah, you had like boxes left when we were done and we were the last game to play. We should grab.
Yeah, we're taking a lot of shirts back to the studio for people that couldn't go to PAX though.
This is the first time I've ever been the last to anything and got a small shirt.
Right? Yeah.
Here's your triple XL.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
We ran out of double XL and XL first, and then small.
So what does that say about your demographics?
I don't know.
XL, baby. XL right here.
Small and medium, like they hung in there for a while.
That's pretty good. I think the point that I wanted to make about this though is that like honestly in the coming PAXs that are in the future here,
the PAXs to come,
I feel like the Boss Key experience was something that I had never like an offsite kind of thing, and I know it's been done in the past, but you guys did it up right.
Well, you know what it is? Great. I was talking to some people. It's always those venues, those events. They're from press side only.
Yeah.
So you never get to see them as like a dude that's interested in playing the game.
That's right.
And so like I've seen plenty of those things, but like none that was like, hey, cool, we're gonna invite everyone else out that wants to play the game.
Yeah.
And
no
actually,
pass necessary. Like if you couldn't get into PAX, a PAX ticket, come and you can still play. Like come and have a coffee because it's on the house. Come and have a Red Bull. It's on the house. You get a little 6-minute demo, jump up into a fucking rad room where the whole staff is standing around like yelling, screaming and coaching you and everything else. When I played, fucking Chris was right over my shoulder the whole time, and thank God because I suck at those kind of games.
He wouldn't shut up when we were there.
Okay.
Well, whatever. I appreciated the shit out of it. I'm just saying, but it was good. Like the whole experience was the right way to do like an offsite booth. And
yeah, because we were the last ones to go. They like gathered everybody up, so the whole room was all crowded and shit. I don't know if it was like that for all of them, but it was definitely made the game way more intense. It's like I've never played this before, and we're still freaking out trying to like not lose, which we lost. But
that last one was intense, dude.
I think the best part about it was not just the game, but the fact that I didn't have to wait in line for it. It seemed like
definitely the best.
I went there and I sat down, had a drink, and talked to the staff, and then I played the game.
Somebody thought that out and was like, instead of having people wait in line, let's just have a lounge where they can sit and hang out.
No, it was great. We get to catch up with Chris, who's normally on the show via Skype. We got to catch up with Joshua Parker, who's been on the show before.
So did I. Yeah,
it was cool to kind of see people that we've chatted with before in person and hang out for a bit. And then even though we were there for quite a while, we were the last ones to go, we didn't care. Like there was even an opportunity to go a couple times, I think, early because of like one or two slots.
Single player kind of thing.
Let other people go in. Like exactly. We're fine. This is comfortable. If I was just standing in a line with my like everybody on their cell phones, draining their battery, just waiting, God, that would get
that guy
rough.
That's like behind you or in front of you is like super smelly, and there's no way you can get away from him because you've been waiting there for like 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
bad.
you guys did it right.
I had to give you credit for that.
Hopefully
for
we
sure.
see more of that stuff going forward because it's expensive to have offsite. It's expensive to have a booth. I think the money's going to get spent either way.
Yeah, no, I agree. What did you guys see specifically when you guys were there on Monday?
I guess I'll take the first one. Keep talking and nobody explodes.
I saw this one
Oh
too, yeah.
man. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you saw this on the floor, right, at the Indie Mega booth.
Yeah.
Is that where you saw it?
That's,
Okay.
I didn't play it, but I saw it.
So we went up to the guy who was running the booth and just chatted with him for a little while, and he goes, "Here, little secret. Go down to where the Cards Against Humanity is, right outside of the main entrance to PAX. You know,
yeah,
and there's a whole setup there of our game, and it will be a much better experience." I went, oh, okay, because they had this big line, and we were like, I don't know if I'm going to wait in the line to play it. I'd rather just kind of see someone play it. So, and I'll get to the game in just a quick second. Okay, so we go down there.
The anecdote. Go ahead.
We go down there. We head down there. I was going to go anyway, pick up another booster. And there it is. There's this door into a theater. We're like, what the fuck? So we go in there, and full, like 4 or 5 rows of seats, sits maybe 30 people or so. I'm not sure. And you go in there and you sit down, and they pick 2 people out of the crowd every time they do another session. They bring you up, they mic both people so that you can hear them talk to each other, and everybody else gets to watch with their, butthole clenched, and also make fun of them when they're making mistakes.
That's fantastic.
So for those that don't know how the game works, it's a really nice spin on virtual reality. You have one person who does not have a headset on, but they have an instruction manual, and you have another person who has the headset on, and they're also staring at a bomb that's ticking down, about to explode. The person with the manual can obviously talk to the person who's looking at the bomb, but they cannot see what the person with the bomb is seeing.
Yeah.
So they have to communicate very, very well. There might be a puzzle, like a symbol style puzzle or something to that effect. That means that the other person has to describe these hieroglyphic-esque symbols to the person with the manual so they know what to do next. And that was the funniest shit to watch in a quiet theater while
it's
they're
like
all
categories or whatever,
Yeah.
where like people or like Pictionary, where like you have to describe this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what's the symbol you see? Oh, it's like a thing. It's like an S with a whoop and a little lip at the bottom. That's what this one guy said. Everyone's like, what? No, that's not how you describe that at all. And if you get it right, then it'll be like, okay, press them in this sequence. Beep, boop, bop, bop. And it goes green. And everyone's like, and then the crowd starts cheering. It's
Clapping
the
and
coolest
shit.
thing to
Yeah,
watch.
I like
great.
the part where it's like the wizard staff. It's like, do you mean the 3 where somebody gave up or something? It's like, it's just
Yeah,
like the
it started
crow.
3 and gave up at the end. Yeah, that
He
one.
described it as a wizard staff.
That's great.
So it is a bunch of different sections of the bomb are different puzzles, and they all require the person to go to a different part of the manual to figure out like which wire to cut or which number sequence to press, and it was fantastic.
Cool.
Just a really good idea. Anyway, that's my
in the big kind of like grand scheme of VR, I think this is really kind of like a cool novel thing to do.
Well,
You know
that's what
I mean?
VR is. Cool, novel thing.
As an application for VR. Yes.
Nick Tumblestone.
Tumblestone was fun. We walked through. This was in the Indie Mega booth.
Okay.
I think I won at this. I beat Joe and some other stranger.
Did you win?
I think I won. Yeah.
I thought I won.
And that's Tumblestone.
No. I think Nick
It's
won.
just a
actually.
quick. It's just a quick puzzle game or something. There's 4 players on screen. The computer beat us once because we didn't know what we were doing. I think
in one match,
Yeah.
or one round of the whole.
There, you just like play first person to 3 points or something wins, and you just shoot stones up, and you're trying to get 3 in a row or like 3 of the same colors, and you gotta. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I guess it's just kind of like
Well, it's incredibly simple. That's why it's hard
incredibly
to explain.
simple. Yeah, it's just a fun game. It reminded me of I don't know. You guys ever play Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo or for the PlayStation or something?
That sounds complicated.
It does sound complicated, but it was one of the best PlayStation games ever. It's
Right on.
like I played that with like my family back in I don't know, 15, 20 years ago or
The
something.
early aughts
Yeah.
or the late 90s.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And it was just a lot of fun. It's like some Japanese game where like it was all Street Fighter players, and
Yeah.
it was just a puzzle.
Yeah, I remember this
version
game. It was
of
in
it.
arcades for forever.
Yeah, and we got really good at it and had a lot of fun with it, and it was very competitive. This game could become something like that, I feel.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Got it.
The game mode we played was incredibly simple because you
Yeah.
can only I picture Tetris style, but from the bottom up, but nothing's moving. You just have a bunch of blocks there already in front of you, and you shoot at them, but you have to shoot 3 of the same color in your sequence. If you mess that up, then the whole board resets on you.
The way
All right.
the way you
That's
described it makes it sound like Bust a Move. Is that the game?
Yeah,
where, like,
Snood or Snood was like
Snood.
Yeah. Same thing.
Except for
Kind of like that.
It's kind of like that, except for you're not shooting at an angle and bouncing things. You're kind of like you're moving over in the column and then shooting straight up.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So you got to move.
It's got like the breakout thing where you move the paddle and then.
What makes it cool is like, you know, if you look at, you have to look ahead a lot, because if you just look for the 3 colors together, then you might have screwed yourself, and there may not be 3 colors left of any other thing at the end.
If you shoot at one of the other color on accident, it restarts the entire board over.
Cool.
And then you got to try to catch up.
So it's just a race. Everyone's just trying to get up all of them cleared.
It's a tried and true fucking method, but making it competitive is cool. Yeah.
It was fun. Captain Forever was a good one. Also,
I don't think I saw this one at all, actually.
It's pretty cool.
It's hard to miss things in the indie booth. There's so much shit crammed into that little
There's
area.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on in there.
You mean it's easy to miss things?
So, yes.
Okay.
Joe
Thank
missed
you.
a lot of things.
It's hard to not miss things. The Captain Forever was cool. You top-down style shooter, I guess, is the way to explain it. But you just tiny little blocks that make up your ship, and you get to fit them onto it however you want.
Oh, like kid bashing kind of thing? Like, all right.
But what makes it cool is this all kind of happens in real time. You're just in the middle of a level, and there are enemies around in various areas, and you fly your ship around and you destroy them, and when you destroy them, they break into pieces, and you start grabbing the pieces with the mouse and fitting them to your ship and just making your ship bigger and bigger and bigger and with more guns and more power, and you just keep going until you're demolishing people with a ship the size of your entire
The
screen.
way you hook stuff up to your ship is important too, because like where you add pieces, like you may need to add more thrusters strategically or lasers, because like they could make
Shoot
it
your own
cumbersome to
ship.
fly your exactly.
Yeah, if you
had that problem.
if
Right
you
on.
put all your thrusters on one side of the ship, your ship will spin or something like.
It's
not-
just like a little bit of physics in there too.
Yeah, so you're trying to fight off people while you're trying to build your ship like simultaneously.
Very cool.
And protect your core, because if you don't actually do that correctly, that's the thing that'll kill you anyway. So you want to make sure you have a lot of stuff around that.
Seemed cool.
It's pretty cool.
We played a little bit of butt sniffing pugs.
I saw pictures, and I'm pretty sure if everybody goes to the Cheat Codes Cast Twitter page, they'll see some pictures too. Of you
I
guys.
did.
It was.
We had to talk about it on the show once upon a time. So
It's what Joe would describe as a sandbox. He keeps saying that it's a sandbox pug game.
It is a sandbox pug game. I don't know why anyone thinks it's anything
he seems kind
different.
of angry when he says
I don't know.
it.
I
Because
can't.
he disagrees with me.
I
and I
can't-
don't understand that.
I can't steal a car and pay some hookers to like. I don't know. It just doesn't seem
Pugs
very
don't
Grand
do
Theft
that
Auto.
anyway.
What do you
They
pay
just-
hookers for?
No, I'm just saying Grand Theft Auto. I
When-
think a sandbox.
Okay.
Here's why I described it as a sandbox, because when I was a kid, what I did in the sandbox was pee on stuff, poop on stuff, and sniff stuff, and that's what you get to do in this game.
Technically, you're correct.
You never took a shit in a sandbox? Never mind.
Technically, you're correct. Is what I'll say. Before you go, Chris, can I throw in one last quick little experience, little anecdote?
Go for it.
So when I was not going to go to PAX at all, but I was fortunate enough to have kind of like a Sunday pass fall into my lap, and with that Sunday pass, I got a Oculus Rift Fast Pass, which is this amazing thing where apparently Oculus was so booked that they actually started taking appointments, and you had to like line up accordingly to the appointments you had to RSVP for. It's like getting into a
If
fancy
it's an
restaurant
appointment, why do I have to line up?
because you had to like get an order of your 15-minute.
Yeah, but
thing.
couldn't I just like show up at my time slot?
You would think so, but like the line was fucking crazy. So I assumed that everybody was like waiting for their appointments to happen.
I'm waiting for my appointment,
Yeah,
but I know what time my
I
appointment
know.
is.
I know. It sounds crazy. So I got to get to this Fast Pass, which is like this black Amex like credit card looking thing with the logo, and walked up to the thing. I was like, "Hey, can I redeem this here and get a demo real quick?"
And they're like, no, somebody made that shit up.
And I could feel the fucking heat from all the stares of the people in line while I was standing at the little reception thing and whatever. Yeah, got right in. Played a little Eve Valkyrie
Nice.
just for you, Nick.
Did you have some fun?
I did. I played Eve Valkyrie. It was amazing.
Was it okay?
It was the demo we've all seen.
Was
but
that
it
your
good.
first time VR experience?
No, I've done Oculus before, but this was with the production model, which was cool. So
Okay.
yeah,
It was actually Oculus, yeah.
yeah, it was Oculus.
Because I know that they had the other one, the
Crescent
the
Bay.
Samsung one there.
That.
Gear, that's where the phone is like
the gear
glued
was
to your
like in the
eyeballs.
thing in the other booth. They had it like right next door.
Okay.
Yeah, they were like in the same area.
Yeah, it was right there, but I didn't mess with that. I did the Oculus thing. So.
Well, that's cool.
I just want to say Fast Pass is the shit if you can get one. So.
What did it just play with like an Xbox controller? Or
Yeah,
something?
I just sat in the chair and did the whole thing, and it actually took me like a few seconds to get into the demo before I realized I was like, oh, I need to like look around to see where like all these contrails are going and follow these ships before I shoot them and shit. But
Is it cool?
That cool ass demo that we saw at Valkyrie a few months ago from E3 and GDC and shit. Like, I got to play it. It was
A
dope.
few months ago, we saw that at E3 like 2 years ago or something.
No, the Valkyrie. No, we tried to at E3
Okay,
2
yeah.
years ago, but I'm
Yeah.
saying the one that we like with the Oculus demo that we saw from E3 this year,
Okay.
from the episode that we did about it. Check it out.
So like you got shot and like you froze at the end or something?
Yes, that's exactly
Okay.
what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, wait, were you weren't flying or something? Because that one...
I was flying,
Okay.
and I
I was
okay.
You guys can have this conversation after.
I
maybe.
knew he was going to be excited about it. I kind of begged him on. So, all right, Chris, go ahead, please.
All right, so I saw a bunch of indie stuff. Inversus was cool. It was a 2-player competitive game. It's very like simple set of mechanics, but surprisingly deep. One player is colored black, one's colored white. They can only move on tiles that correspond to their color, but when they fire, they can like charge up shots, and they can fire in one of 4 directions, and their shots will scroll across and convert tiles over. But they also can destroy your opponent if they hit them. So you have this cool dance going on. In the level design, there are like blocks that, of course, like don't change color, or your shots can't pass through,
Right.
or they have like sections that are mirrored. So there's one we played where it's like I was controlling a guy in like 6 quadrants, and he was moving around, and all the shots. Anyway, it got really crazy. It's really cool to look at.
Sounds awesome.
Valhalla was this visual novel, like you're a bartender, like dating sim type deal. I think it might not be a dating sim. I'm not sure.
Are you dating the bartender? Or the bartender
So
dating
people come in and they talk to you and you make them drinks, but the writing is like amazing and it's hilarious. There's like the first character was like this kind of cliche, stereotypical like Twitch streamer girl that was all like just she had some like really raunchy stuff to say, and she had like a stream of consciousness of like all these weird like words and emotes that would like scroll across the screen every so often. Like it was really good. It's like got a really cool pixel art style.
Do you have to figure out what to make them or something? Or do
They
come in and
tell you what to
okay.
make them, and then there are like moments in between making stuff for them where like you get more dialogue.
So wait, you're just a bartender like facilitating their...
It's just a really cool visual novel game with a little bit of extra like mechanical stuff to it that's got like impeccable writing.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else was there. Mushroom 11 was this really cool looking puzzle platformer where you're like burning away parts of this this organism, and then it regenerates in kind of like sort of random directions to compensate. So you have to use it to like push it through tunnels or like over obstacles.
This was PAX 10
This is the one I saw
year.
last year.
Yeah,
Last year it was a PAX. It was in the PAX 10.
I hadn't really seen it last year, so this is the first time I really got a chance to
So
take a
it
look
transferred
at it.
over to the Indie Mega booth? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that one looked really cool. Stonehearth was another one. It's kind of like this cutesy.
What's it called?
Stonehearth.
As opposed to Hearthstone?
Yeah, I guess they're having some problems. So it's like this cutesy, like Minecraft-esque, like isometric city builder.
Yeah.
And you can like build these buildings, and you can templatize them, and your guys will go out and like mine stuff, and then they'll go build your buildings like block by block, and it's really cool to watch.
So it's like an isometric Minecraft, but with like
It's all
copy paste.
It's like a city builder. It's all automated. So you tell your people to build stuff, and they'll go mine, and then they'll build stuff, and
That's cool.
But it's all kind of like voxel based in how you can like make building templates
That
and
sounds
share
kinda
them.
cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff.
Indie Mega booth for the win, guys.
Yep.
All right.
That's
As
worth
much as
it.
I want to put PAX behind us, we need to make mention of why Pokemon is kind of fucking up right now a little bit. And I'm sorry, Nick.
Is it Pokemon or is it Game Freaks who did it? Like the Game Freaks are like... Don't
Well,
throw.
this is how I understand it. Apparently, there was a Thursday party that was going to kick off PAX, right? And it was going to be Pokemon themed, and it'd be the 5th year in a row that they were doing it. Apparently, Pokemon, like Pokemon Works, the Pokemon company, found out about it and filed suit against these 2 party promoters that were going to throw this party for the 5th time in the year. This is the first time that Pokemon decided to do something about it.
But it was called the 5th annual unofficial Pokemon PAX
They
kickoff.
made sure that we're like, hey, Pokemon,
that make it okay?
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Ramar, Larkin Jones, and Zach Stone were Zach Shore, were the party promoters, and they've been doing it for a couple of years now. But apparently, Pokemon got wind of it. They used images in their party poster and their promotional materials. I think at this place, the party was supposed to be at 500 East, the bar in Seattle, but I'm not sure that's correct. But whatever, these guys are facing some hardcore litigation.
Well, they're
I know-
charging.
I know that they're
full
they're
on.
charging
They were
at the
statutory
door.
charges.
No,
for $2.
I'm saying they're charging at the door.
Yes, they were trying to make.
That's the
the
difference.
problem.
I feel like did they not
It's a-
charge the other years? That's what I want to know.
I don't
guess.
know, but
Yeah.
this is clearly like a litigable defense, or offense rather, where they could like draw some attention if they're trying to make money off an IP that isn't theirs. Then
Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's
Yes.
$2 to come see the Pikachu cosplay.
right.
You gotta ask those like trying to make money or trying to like cover the expenses of the party. But at this point, when you're charging, it's kind of like
Yes.
there's nothing. The only thing you could really do, I think, is ask for donations.
But it's not like they're asking like 20, but like they could have easily gotten away with a much. It's a party that's pretty established. Like they could have asked for way more than that. I don't think they were trying to make a profit here. I think they were maybe trying to cover expenses at best.
It might
like
not
$2
look like that,
cover
though, to
Pokemon.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying.
Nick's right. They could have asked for donations or something ahead of time and just let
Or
anyone in.
donated profits to charity or something like that. You know what I mean? Which is a totally different thing. I can understand that.
Throwing parties costs money.
It does.
And the place they probably got cost a bunch of money to like rent out.
If it's downtown near the convention center, it probably is expensive. Yeah.
And if you're using somebody else's IP, you cannot charge for it. I mean,
You can't. You just can't.
That's it. You're using somebody else's work. You cannot.
You can't use the IP regardless. You know what I mean? But charging makes it.
Well, but I'd have a different opinion on this episode right now under those conditions.
Like
if it was free,
Yes.
then I
So,
would have a different
At PAX
opinion.
last year, there was a unofficial league party at Q nightclub
for League of Legends.
and they didn't charge people to get in,
Okay.
and so there was like not an
Riot
issue.
didn't say shit.
No, there were even Riot people there hanging out.
Yeah,
It was like a community party.
Okay.
I think they're probably a bit more chill about that stuff, but again, if the person would have charged people to get in, it might not have been so chill.
So here's where the disconnect
Yeah.
for me happens is that it's cool. Like themed parties for PAX are a thing. Themed party for anything, whether it be movies or video games or some sort of fan fiction subculture thing, it exists, right? And you rarely hear about like people actually getting sued for using. I'm going to have my Twilight party and we're going to have all the boys
all
be
the
this.
sparkly vampires we want.
Right, exactly.
What about the Rave of Thrones? Do you think that was
Sure.
an issue?
Rave of
Well, I think because they got Hodor to fucking DJ, it was fine. But
What did he say?
No, he did. Hodor is a DJ.
yeah.
Never mind.
Oh, Hodor.
Exactly.
Can we go?
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
going?
you, Chris.
Anyway, we'll move on shortly. But I just I think it's a strong arm move for Pokemon. But obviously, these guys should probably not have been doing it and charging money in the first place, right? Can we agree on this?
Well, initially when I heard this, it's like it was clickbait. It's like, why did Pokemon shut down this awesome Pokemon party or something? But then like, you get into it and you're like, oh, they're charging. It's just kind of like, you can't really side with them just because you're not supposed to. Like it's somebody else's work. That's just how it works, I guess. Like
I mean, think about it under any circumstance. If it was a party that was not Pokemon themed, would they have the same turnout?
Well, here's the thing.
No.
This is my suggestion to them is that because there was no new Pokemon game coming out or being like shown at PAX this year, they could have done, what is it, Pokken, whatever the new monster collector / trainer is that's coming out of Japan right now.
What are you talking?
they
don't
can't
even know what I'm
use,
talking-
they can't use
No.
anybody else's IP.
It's still somebody else's thing,
I'm
dude.
just saying, we'll get the one that, is actually relevant right now, is all I'm saying.
Pokemon's always relevant.
Wow.
All right.
People are like raising their torches
I'm
and
just saying,
pitchforks
like,
right now, Joe.
If you're going to throw a Pokemon party, be careful.
I guess were people
And
really upset
no,
about
don't throw Pokemon parties.
That's not the lesson. That's not the lesson.
Is that not the lesson?
Dear listener, the lesson is do not use other people's fucking copyrighted material to make money.
And I'm not saying
That's
that they
what you don't
I'm
do.
not saying they were trying to make money. I'm just saying like you can't guarantee that they weren't making money. Like let's
That's
say
right.
Exactly.
let's say they paid $1,000 for the venue or something, and over the course of the night they let in 501 people or something. They made $2 or something.
That's a profit.
Oh, yeah, that's a profit. You can't make a profit off of somebody else's money. Here in America, we respect other people's copyright.
motherfucker.
America.
Yeah.
This isn't. I'm not.
You're still gonna do
Let's go. It's fine.
Go down the China road again.
You're right. I agree.
Yeah.
China road.
Disrespectful IP using
Oh my
copyright
God.
infringement.
I
Whatever.
have no problem with like China because I mean
China's great. Yeah.
share your copyrights. Everybody benefits in a way, but it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't do that here.
It's that weird balance of like strong arming, like a big corporation strong arming the little guys, but the little guys kind of fucked up. So what are you gonna do?
There was no strong arm. They said, "Hey, these guys are infringing upon our IP." It's
Yeah.
infringement
they're-
is not a
but they're-
strong arm. Like it's
No, it's not. But when you go after these guys without they could have just sent a cease and desist letter. But no, they're going to sue these guys for
Are they actually suing them?
yes.
Yeah,
They filed papers.
They
to
didn't
sue
just
them.
shut down the
No.
party or something.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a little excessive. That's where the
That
strong
was
arming
excessive.
comes
Yeah,
in.
That's what I'm saying.
So
That's
let's
my
stop
point.
that. Yeah, You don't need to sue anybody.
Calm
Why
down.
don't they
Pokemon.
sue them for the profits they made? Because then, if there were 501 people there and they can write them a
$2.
check for $2, that would be great.
Yeah.
And it'll cost them more for whoever in their
It's
HR
gonna cost
department
them
has to
more
cash
on
it.
legal fees than it is
Exactly.
to like collect any sort of real damages.
Yeah.
So, listener, what you can expect is us not to use
They
a
must
picture of Pokemon in any form for the promotion of
The
this
problem
episode.
is like
I
you
don't know.
see,
I'm thinking about it.
if somebody's suing somebody, they have like reasonable like I don't know assurance that they actually made like a considerable amount of money charging $2, and it's like maybe 10,000 people came into this party or something. They made $20,000.
Well, they want damages for this party, but also all the parties in the past.
Did they charge for the parties in the past? We need to know.
It sounds like if they're suing for
Maybe
damages,
they
it
did
sounds
then,
like
yeah.
there must be some money floating around.
Joe, I know what we can do. We can call this episode like Pokiman, and we can have a picture of you in some like vaguely yellow jumpsuit.
As long as it's parody well protected.
Look, I know
with
we're
a zigzag
okay.
black tie.
Fuck. Quick anecdote. I know we're running behind, but I actually was Pikachu, and I wore the Pikachu outfit for a
Don't
parade
say that.
in
No.
upstate New York.
Do you have a
Different.
picture
No,
of
it was sanctioned because we were actually the same network that was the WB channel where the Pokemon cartoon was airing.
If we talk to your wife, will she have a picture of this?
No, I was a teenager. This was long
Does
before.
she
I
know
my
about
wife.
this?
Does she know? Because
Well, she does.
She
now.
probably does have
Or
it
when she
somewhere.
listens to this episode.
She's holding on to it for when she needs it.
I never like. I've been swimming in the ocean. Have you ever been swimming in a sea of children before, like young toddlers? It was weird.
This is
I just got
getting
bum
weird.
rushed. I'm
That
just
was the
saying,
weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I'm just saying. I was walking down parade style in the giant Pikachu outfit and was like bum rushed by a bunch of like Pokemon fans. Like, hey, let's go hug Pikachu and shit. And I was like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, it was fucked up. I'm just saying.
It's like a zombie apocalypse, and you're like stuck in a car or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But you keep kind of wading through it in this like oversized,
Just
cumbersome
keep your arms up the
suit.
entire time, yeah.
Sweating and the whole deal.
Oh man, I really want to see this.
I'm sure. Actually, I bet my dad has video. Anyway,
Nice.
We're gonna fight over your dad.
there was an interesting article this week from GameSpot from Eddie Makuch, who interviewed a guy named Patrick Perkins, who's a product manager at Xbox. And Mr. Perkins had a very interesting statement, and I'm not going to say it's sensationalist. It is a little bit, but
I'm not gonna say, but it is. I just said it.
a little bit, just a little bit.
That's
But
fine.
he compared the year of 2007 to this year, 2015. 2015 being like the possible contender for the next golden age of video games. A lot of people consider 2007 as kind of like the height of the last console era, if not a lot of just the major console like marketing, and the general audience approves of that year being kind of like the big shit.
What came out of 2007? I'm trying to think.
So I actually had a list, but the formatting here got fucked up a little bit. But everything on the right of this is the stuff that came out. So we have things like BioShock, Halo 3, Assassin's Creed, the original, Mass Effect, Rock Band, GTA 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Uncharted Jake's Fortune,
Wow.
Portal, and Super Mario Galaxy all came out in like I think there's a couple exceptions, but the majority came out in like the holiday time, like last quarter of the year into early 2008, I guess.
That's a really good list of
Pretty fucking substantial,
AAA games,
right?
I guess, yeah.
So he compares it to what's kind of coming up here in this last quarter of this year, and what's kind of coming out in the early months of next year as well. Stuff like Halo 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm not sure that qualifies yet, but he mentioned it.
Just list them.
Forza 6, Cobb Ops 3, Fallout 4, Dark Souls 3, which may not have meant that much back in the day, but means a lot now, I think. Battlefront, which is a huge deal, especially with all the Star Wars hype.
We'll see.
Metal Gear Solid 5, which people are saying is one of the best Metal Gears of the thing. I mean, of the series. Of the thing, sorry.
I heard it's pretty good.
I got to weigh in.
Please.
So let's go back up to that list real quick.
Yeah.
So, all right. Not to be like a total fucking cynic, but I'm gonna.
We can be, because I'm a little bit cynical
in
about this list too.
2007, I'm seeing a lot of stuff, with the exception of a couple games. They're all brand new IP that were
Correct.
amazing.
Yeah.
Correct.
On the 2015 list, I see
6.
no new IP. Actually, I see all
High five it.
sequels or reboots.
I see a
this is-
6, a 4, a 3.
5 and Battlefront is
5,
part
6,
of an
3,
IP that
4,
already
2.
existed, right? So
Not that they won't be good. I mean, I'm
another
excited
5
for
there, too.
for quite a number of those things on the list, but I just don't think that's golden age of video games. Height of a
but-
console.
No, I agree with you. Context is important here too, though. So we're talking about specifically about consoles, all right? Not necessarily like PC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I said
Yes.
height of a console generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the issue I have with this. You can't foresee a golden age. ask this guy in 2006 when all of these brand new IPs were coming out that no one has heard of. Nobody would have told you that Mass Effect, that Rock Band, that Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that Uncharted would have been hits. So at that point, nobody would have said that 2006 was going to be a golden age. So if you're going to look forward into 2015, 16 stuff, then you're only going to list sequels and stuff because that's the only thing you can predict.
That's right.
Now, so it's not really like this whole article is irrelevant.
So two things to be fair. Half those titles are the ones that were directly referenced, and then half ones were added by the author to kind of like fluff it out and make it, see, like, because they are legitimate titles.
So he's a fluffer, is what you're saying.
I did not say that actually, but
that he's a fluffer.
But what Perkins did come around and say was that like when at the height of a console, in 2007 the Xbox 360 had been out for 3 years. This upcoming holiday season is going to be the third holiday season for the Xbox One. So what he says is that because like developers, development cycles have kind of come around and people kind of understand how to use the platform and the development kit and everything else, like this is when like we start to see kind of, where the consoles start to shine is in the third year holiday season releases. And so that's why he makes the point that like 2015 could possibly be the next.
So you said
the biggest year since 2007, essentially.
Don't buy an Xbox 360 or Xbox One until the third year. So don't buy the new console.
See,
I guess you could infer that, but I'm saying
I don't think any of that is true anymore because commercial engines already handle porting that kind of stuff to the consoles.
Well,
just fine.
You're not wrong.
We didn't have that before,
that was
though.
His argument.
Now we do. We don't.
That's why I'm saying it's different.
Then, yeah.
Like I don't think that there's that long. Definitely not that long. Every growth model, when it comes to pretty much anything, especially technology, is exponential. Sure. So to say that a linear model is going to apply to every console, like 3 years after release, is always going to be when they're the best. That's horseshit because it's going to be that gap is going to be shortened every single time.
No, I completely agree.
Xbox didn't they or Microsoft said we're not making another console or something, or like some of them.
Everybody says shit like that. Just the way fucking Bill Belichick's like, oh yeah, Tom Brady's questionable for fucking Sunday start every week. So like,
they're not saying, I don't know. It's the consoles are turning more into like just home entertainment centers or computers or something, or like Steam boxes, I guess you could say. And we're just going to get all these games on them, and it's not going to make that much of a difference.
But they do say that all the time because when they reach this stage, when they have the tail end of the console that they've released 3 years, 4 years prior. It's kind of like a tactic to get people to run out and kind of grab it because
scarcity, creates demand.
Well, that's the thing is like, so he's saying, 360, PS3 era, the best stuff was hitting maybe like three years in, but
correct.
PS1, PS2, Dreamcast, whatever, like all the like really, really awesome games
launch titles.
No.
Final Fantasy VII. What the fuck?
No, PlayStation. Final Fantasy VII didn't come until the end of the PlayStation.
The real good stuff though, like the things that people remember the most are like the things that came out right near the tail end of the console.
When PlayStation.
Not that there wasn't
out,
good stuff throughout the lifespan of the console, but. All right.
The first games that came out on the PlayStation were 2D games. Like the first game, the system was what, 32-bit or something, or 64 maybe,
like stuff like Crash Bandicoot and shit. That shit was 3D. Like what?
Yeah, that wasn't at the beginning, was it? Though
sure,
it was pretty early on. Although I do agree there are a lot of really good franchises that were built off of the beginning of the PlayStation. Tekken did a good job.
Well, Halo
on the
with
releases.
Xbox, for instance.
Tekken did a good job at the beginning of PlayStation 2. Tekken didn't come out of PlayStation 2. I thought like the first one.
Tekken was like an arcade title.
I had Tekken on PS1 as the demo that I got with the
Tekken
console.
2. I guess was the PS2.
PlayStation Underground, guys. PlayStation Underground. I'm just saying.
Tekken Tag Tournament was the PS2 one.
Okay.
What I can definitely say personally is that Road Rash was great. No,
I played that on Genesis.
No, I think that PlayStation 1 was definitely the biggest gap I've ever seen from the beginning of a console release to an end in terms of what people were able to do to stretch that console. Out of every other console that ever came out, I think that the PlayStation 1 was the only one I'd ever seen the most vast difference in what people were able to put out in there. It fucking blew my mind.
We could probably do a whole episode on that topic.
I think it's harder to tell now because everything's using x86 architecture. Everyone's familiar with it. We've got really great engines. We've got like standardized hardware. All these things make it so like those huge gaps like you're talking about, they're not as discernible.
True.
So then really what's going to be important is like the innovation quality and not the quality of the engineering that gets us like the visuals and it's going to be things like AI and things like crazy gameplay.
On how much PlayStation pays for exclusive content on their console or something.
But we can,
if I can get the game a year before somebody else, or I guess.
I'm sure we can probably all agree, though, that we're reaching kind of a stage where as processing power and GPU power kind of goes through the roof, that people have to try a lot less to push things where they need to go. And we're kind of at a stage where you can get away with a lot and still make a really good high quality game. And PlayStation 1, like, you needed to get into the fucking assembly and like do it right. If you wanted, the people had to be incredibly they had to be amazing developers to push it where it needed to go.
There was another like CPU on the PlayStation, I think, that they had to use assembly just to access or something. Like they weren't able to use their normal engines or something.
But I think we constantly hear stuff from, like testimonial stuff from like people like Naughty Dog specifically, who developed specifically for PlayStation, when they say like we're finally figuring out how to push this as far as it can fucking go. And they're one of the few studios that does it. So maybe they're an exception to the rule to a certain degree. But like, I mean, I don't know. You watch that. You know, those reveals from Uncharted 4, like, holy shit. You know what I mean?
I'm not denying that people are capable, but I'm saying that you do not have to try that hard to get something that looks comparable to Uncharted.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the difference between Uncharted and another game, although it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Uncharted at all. I never would. I'm part of the Uncharted fan club here. But like, you know, someone who didn't push it to its limits, the average user is not really going to see the difference as much.
Yeah.
They will, but not as much.
I think if anything's going to be a catalyst for a new quote-unquote golden age of gaming, it's going to be VR for sure. Because there's so many unsolved problems there. It's like we like create new problems for ourselves with like regular hardware, right? It's like when we try new things that if maybe we find something that's never been done before, but like in VR, like all that has never been done before.
I feel like
I think that could kind of trigger off.
I think you're right in the sense that it could trigger it. Like it's that is an absolute, you know, what if and like it's A or B. It's a binary situation. Either it will or it won't. You know what I mean?
It's funny when you say like that with VR. It makes me think about the fact that even though like there's like 4 or 5 different VR sets coming out, they're already like standardizing it and everything in a way. Like you can play what is it, the Eva Valkyrie game on like 3 of the different systems already or something, and you just got to plug it in. You got to download the drivers and you can play it already. Like they already, I don't know. It's kind of cool that we're to that point where you can just, I don't know, we recognize the standardization need or something, and with the new consoles and everything, they're all x86 and stuff. You can just play a PC game on your PS4 in a way. It's great. Like we don't have those limitations anymore.
Okay. So back to the point before we move on, I'm gonna limit my decision on whether 2015 is better than 2007 based on 2 things. When Metal Gear Solid comes in the mail tomorrow, and I will play it, and Fallout 4, and that's what's going to fucking determine it for me. But I don't think anything's ever going to top 2007. That's gonna remain, I think, at the echelon.
Going to top what?
2007 is like the year.
Sounds like a guy living in the past.
I'm an old man.
A lot of people thought Mass Effect 2 is better than 1.
True.
I disagree.
I disagree too. But a lot of people popular vote.
All right, we're moving on. Lightning round, everybody. Here we go. Jimmy Kimmel does not get game streaming, apparently, and gamers let him hear about it over a couple of YouTube releases that he, you know, manned up and gamefully fucking responded in kind. I think I got to give credit to Jimmy Kimmel for staying topical and dealing with the vitriol that can be the gaming fucking audience a little bit.
I agree with some of that in a little bit, but
wait. Okay, hang on. Sure. Just really quick. I promise I'm gonna get to you.
I don't speak for the entire panel, by the way. I'm just saying for myself.
No, because we're running short on time. Yeah. I'm gonna try something. If you don't mind me driving the lightning round a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna briefly describe it in case you don't know something about it, and then we're just gonna round the horn so we don't at all like talk over each other, and each person gets no more than 2 minutes. You can take 10 seconds if you want, or you can take the full 2 if you want it. And we'll see how we feel about these things, because this is a big one for me.
For you? Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I also really want to hear what Nick has to say about this. Okay. So to keep it fair, unless you want to introduce.
All right. So Jimmy Kimmel got on when YouTube released its big streaming platform this past week. It made headlines in the sense that even late night talk show hosts were talking about it, specifically Jimmy Kimmel, right? So he went on and to talk about, and basically his point was, he didn't get it. He's like, I don't understand why people want to watch other people playing games, right? And what happened after they released this on YouTube? strangely enough, like as they have many videos of their late night show and their skits and their sketches and whatnot, people got into the comments section and left him a lot of fucking bullshit.
The way I see this going...
Wait, hey, it's not your turn.
Hold on. Last thing I'll say is that this video ended up being got more dislikes than any other video that they'd ever released in like however many years he's been doing the late night show for them. So go ahead, Chris.
So I didn't even watch the video. I just watched like the Twitter feedback about the video, and the sense that I got was this was just like a troll gone wrong.
Yes.
Like he was trying to troll people and then people took it too seriously. Like he didn't actually believe what he was saying, but the delivery made it seem that way. But
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
That was
All right.
Okay.
maybe that wasn't the
Let him
case.
go until he's done with his piece.
So
Say your piece.
anyway, if it was an epic troll gone wrong, then like bummer. But otherwise, I don't.
What about you,
care
Nick?
it.
All right, so this started some night that Jimmy Kimmel airs on. I don't know, is it every night?
This is going so well.
Okay. He basically made a really bad joke. Like it was just kind of like it's like, okay, why would people want to watch people gaming or something? He's like, oh, let's make another YouTube service where people are watching people game or something. That's like, it's YouTube watch.
Right, the whole one step removed from human interaction.
And he did it a few more times or something, and it was a dumb joke, and it's like, okay. And then at that point, it's like, okay, the gamer community is going to explode because we're a bunch of fucking overreacting assholes, and it's true, and you guys got to accept that. But after that, he came back to try to like reprimand the situation. I feel like he's like, okay, I said some things, and I understand people agree with this. And then he continued to like spit on us, I guess you could say, or something. I don't know. Like it was I don't know. I watched the second video first.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of that, I found myself agreeing with him, sort of like, okay, yeah, we're gonna say some mean things because we do that. It's kind of like, I guess, our culture.
He represents
or
a certain audience. Yeah.
Well, no, you keep waving for me to keep talking.
You have 30 seconds.
He's waving at me to shut up. Is what
You
he's
can
doing.
you can say when you're done. You're done.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep talking if you don't stop me. But
That's fine. You have 20 seconds.
I can believe I'm not train of thought. Okay, Chris, you said you thought it was like him just being a troll, and I would agree. It's him just being a troll in a sense. And then he got a giant reaction, but then he reacted to that reaction, or at least the studio he represents reacted to that reaction. He had to make a statement or something, and the statement he made was good at first and then really, really bad after. And I think that's kind of where he lost me, and that I feel like Jimmy Kimmel's very outdated with what's going on in the world. I guess. I got to stop on that. Yeah.
What's your time? So you can't fucking keep going.
I'm gonna choose to stop right now.
I'm gonna cede my time to the delegate sitting to my left.
I can't believe that you sided with him even for a half a second. No, you don't get to talk. It's my fucking time. This is my time.
All right. Just remember who the host is, okay?
I'm just kidding. It completely, yeah. We watched the second one before the first. Maybe that was a mistake. I don't really know. He was being comical about it, trying to make jokes, and the jokes did not land halfway in. They definitely got to a point where he was literally dating himself and looking completely disconnected and not understanding it at all. I think what made it worse is that he didn't even make an effort to try and connect with what people were attempting to tell him about what he was getting wrong about it. So when people were saying things like, you don't just why don't you just go fucking play football? Why do you watch football? I
have sex instead of watching porn.
Yeah, like I watch esports. I don't. That means I can play video games or I can watch them. There's no difference between the two. So people were attacking Jimmy Kimmel about that as well, and his responses were more along the lines of just like, yeah, I think it's fucking dumb, but I do it anyway. And then that doesn't really justify your scenario. That's not an argument. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. So for me, it blew my mind that he wasn't even willing to back off a tiny bit. He didn't back off a little bit to understand that there are people out there that actually can do something that takes a lot of skill even if it doesn't mean getting up and running like in other sports and things like that.
Necessarily a hardcore
not,
physical, like a full body.
It's not something you can do.
But
it's a skill.
But yeah, so people watch it as well. Now, the only thing that I agree with on Jimmy Kimmel's part is just it's one of those things that's indicative to the gaming culture that I absolutely fucking hate, when people are behind a computer and think they can say things that they shouldn't be able to say in public, and it's just all that shit all over again. I'm so embarrassed by the gaming community and how they handle social media, because they could have done that a lot better. He was a dumbass, but there are many, many better ways to do it than the way that the gaming community handled it.
The best way to handle this, I think, would have been, and nicely said, by the way, we should have just started Twitch streaming Jimmy Kimmel. That's it.
Oh, it's your time anyway. Go ahead.
Is it mine finally?
Yeah.
Is it? All right. No, I think I agree with him in the sense that, like, from exactly where your argument is that, like, when you threaten a guy's family and his children, like, yes, you should have a fucking pedestal to stand on, and he has a very specific pedestal because he does it 5 nights a week and for an hour and a half, whatever.
On what station?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I
think it's ABC actually, but he's a late night host, and that's a very specific community of like 7 or 8 guys that do that. You know what I mean? Across whatever Prime networks or others. He addressed something like Conan does something very similar, but like, and he's probably gotten just as much bullshit over the months, but he's only on TBS, so it's like maybe not as viewed as much. He does that, like, he did
the thing where he played
the
with
clueless gamer stuff. Yeah, he does this very frequently. You know what I mean? And I feel like there are gamers out there that are fucking kind of rail on Conan sometimes about this stuff, but not to that degree, because Conan like actually attempts it and tries it. So before Jimmy Kimmel can fucking sit there and criticize it, maybe try it first, and go watch some games, or go watch Madden on fucking Twitch, because you do that shit essentially when you're watching it on a Sunday, when it's live, right? So that's my thing. At least fucking Conan's giving it a fucking whirl. You know what I mean? Is it wrong? Is it embarrassing when a community turns around and starts threatening a man, even if it's fucking joking, if it's behind a Twitter handle or a fucking YouTube handle? It's fucking embarrassing. It really is. Don't fucking threaten a man. Don't threaten his wife or his kids. That's fucking bullshit. Like, honestly, I'm just saying. Did he get it wrong? Yeah, probably. It took me a while to come around and understand fucking Twitch and like watching other gamers. Now I do it all the time, but I don't know. Fuck. Don't threaten a man's fucking family, man. I'm just saying, like.
That's how it started. And when I watched the second video first, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a bunch of people overreacting to this guy's statement, and he said he definitely mentions, like, yeah, people threaten my family and everything, and
I didn't like hearing that.
That was silly. Like, we don't need to do anything like that. So the guy doesn't understand your point of view.
Right.
I gotta threaten to rape his wife and kill his children or something.
Yeah,
is that
burn his house down and shit?
Is that what normal people do? I guess
get cancer.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that was definitely too far. All those are too far.
But I don't know. It didn't really. Okay. To say, like, it doesn't really excuse what he said later is a silly statement. Like, okay, so some people threaten his family, and I feel bad for that, but then I feel dumb for thinking that he's an asshat for saying the shit he said after.
It's both. Like, it's both.
Is it both? It's a complicated emotion that I don't know what I'm feeling, I guess.
Yeah. I don't understand these feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man. You're an angsty teenager. Trying to figure out your hormones.
Go listen to some Thursday and hang out.
Thursday.
Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, I'm good. Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, round the horn.
Can we all agree that we all want this toy? Because I want this fucking toy.
Sorry.
I just showed Joe this today, and he was like, "What is this?" He doesn't know what it's talking about.
Okay. Everybody understands that R2-D2 is like arguably the most famous artificial intelligence droid or robot that came out of the Star Wars universe.
Droids aren't artificial intelligence. They're pretty much slaves in Star Wars.
Okay, we'll get to that next. But
you'll have your turn.
But with The Force Awakens coming, this holiday season, that cute little soccer ball robot that we've all seen in the trailers, probably except for Chris, who doesn't watch fucking trailers to movies he wants to see. They made a toy out of it. And you can link it to an app on some sort of tablet or mobile device that you have in your home, and remote control it, take pictures, do like cool screen embed things where you can like shoot holograms out where you say, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope, and it shows up on the screen as like a fucking hologram and shit. You can drive it around. It takes voice commands. It does this whole thing. $150. The BB-88 or BB-8 fucking toy. It's coming. I want it. My son will break the shit out of it if I buy one, which means I can't get one, but I want it. I want it.
I mean, I would get one if it was like, hold on, before you start shouting. I would get one if it was like $600, but it also vacuumed my apartment and functioned as a portable lamp that I could like change the color and intensity on my smartphone. But like just a little thing that like rolls around for $150.
Hey, as long as it lights up your apartment while we're podcasting with you.
Excited. Yeah, I want it to light my apartment and I want it to vacuum, and then I'll buy one.
Yeah.
I don't mind Star Wars branded Roombas. That sounds like a fucking great idea. Disney, if you're listening.
It's a really good point, guys.
I'm waiting for my royalty check.
Is that your only input on the matter?
I think so.
Okay.
That was great.
Golesh.
I don't know what to say about this. It's like it's pretty cool. It's own your own droid thing. It's a little gyroscope robot that you can press some buttons. It's cool. Do I care? I don't give a shit. Like I'm a Star Trek fan. Can I teleport yet? Can you beat me up?
All right. Also fair.
Are you done?
Yeah.
You sound like you're done. I think it's cool that they were able to actually make a functioning. It's kind of like this mini proof that it was practical effects that created this droid.
Yes.
Because they're saying like, look, the technology's real. We promise. Now you can own it in your own home
for $150.
Like, yeah. like fuck the whole George Lucas CG thing. Like this is a real reboot. We can make mini versions of this shit. It's real. We promise. It's practical. I think that's the coolest thing about it to me, is that there's this thing that I know they must have pulled off in the movie without using CG.
Yeah, but I believe that when they told it to me on the internet.
Well, you believe everything you hear on the internet, and I need to buy a $150 mini version of it.
I was going to say, I may need to spend $150 before I believe it. So
that's all I'm saying.
I got to give this person money before I believe what they're saying.
I think it's cool, but I probably will not buy one. In fact, I can guarantee you I will not purchase one of these, but I will watch I will skip through a video that's probably only a minute long. I'll watch a collective 5 seconds of said video,
7, maybe.
Yeah, and get the point and understand that it's maybe that video is CG. I don't fucking know, but let's just claim it's not.
People are lauding this as like the next, Cabbage Patch Doll / Tickle Me Elmo /
Furby.
Sure.
How?
I think this is because they're announcing it's on sale now, whatever. But I think that I don't know.
I know.
Have you seen the video? That shit is dope.
I know.
It's gonna be great.
I guess Tickle Me Elmo. That's a freaking Sesame Street thing.
Sure.
Kids are exposed to it all the time.
Star Wars, man.
Star Wars, I guess,
a part of the collective consciousness. I'm just saying.
No, is that? I guess it's part of our kids now because they got the whole like Star Wars Rebels thing going on or something.
Yeah, but even the prequels fucking exist to a certain degree.
Are you showing your kid this prequels like every day?
No.
Or are you showing them like Sesame Street? Like
my kid can't watch TV yet.
How's
that work?
I'm just saying, are you going to show them Sesame Street or the Star Wars prequels first?
Sesame Street.
Okay, so they're going to see Tickle Me Elmo first. And
it's just Elmo.
Why are they going to be attached to Star Wars? Why would this be sold to a child that has no idea what this is? Like,
because my son will understand who his father is and how important Star Wars is to
I
our
am your
household.
father?
Son, I am your father.
I'm going to cut off my own goddamn hand, and then I'm going to cut off his hand. It's blood packs, the whole thing.
Why? This isn't a toy for children. You're kidding yourself. This is a toy for adults.
Just said your child will break it.
You're absolutely right, which is why I want it so much. I don't want it for my son. I want it for me.
He's not allowed to touch it.
Can we just establish that this lightning round is always Nick's turn?
I will say that this has been the best lightning round in a while. Can we move on?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, in case you didn't notice at the beginning, we did a nice little quote from Scream. And we all got little nicknames from various movies from one singular director who unfortunately passed away this past week.
You missed one.
God damn it.
Just keep going.
Right.
Just keep going. We'll
do this and then
right?
we'll catch that at the end. All right. Sorry, guys.
You have to start over.
Wes Craven passed away this past week. And this is really sad from a pop culture standpoint because... I don't know. As William Friedkin put it, the director of The Exorcist, amongst other awesome movies, pound for pound, Wes Craven was the best horror director in the business that ever existed and did it with a sense of humor. And I think anybody that looks back, you can think like, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, which we can all talk shit about now, but we at some point, I think for all four of us, at some point I realized that movie was fucking important.
At some point.
As a horror movie. It reinvigorated an entire industry
I
at one
still
point.
think Scream is great.
Scream is great because it's super fucking meta. You know what I mean?
At some point, some podcast is going to be quoting at the beginning of their show.
Scream is the community
Super
of
meta.
Scream is the community of horror movies.
Oh my god! But last house on the left, The Hills Have Eyes, all of which have been remade, and then they just recently announced that they're going to start remaking Nightmare on Elm Streets too. So, like, it's
Is
rare.
Johnny Depp going to be in it?
He should be. That would be great. Just like they did 21 Jump
good,
Street.
Chris.
Have him bring back. You know what I mean? So, I'm just saying, like, it's sad to lose a guy like that. Brain cancer, really fucking unfortunate, but hell of a fucking legacy. I mean, whether you're a horror fan or not, you go through your entire life, talk about the collective consciousness and like an American psyche. Like, hard to think about, when you wonder about the biggest villains in the history of film. Like Freddy Krueger has got to be top 5, right?
Yeah, probably.
So, I mean,
8.
That's a hell of a fucking
Maybe top
legacy.
8.
I want to hear your first 7.
Unless you're on MySpace.
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah, I'll put you in my top 8
That was pretty good.
for acknowledging my joke.
I don't know. It was worth it to theme the episode this way and then, also pay homage appropriately. But, all right. One last topic, and then we're going to fucking call it quits.
Sure.
All right. Who the fuck makes a game about loading a slave ship with slave-shaped Tetris pieces?
White Europeans.
What?
Slave ship.
You know what? That's it. We're done. You're not wrong, unfortunately. There's a game. There's a game that we're all just gonna call Slave Tetris because I don't think any of us bothered to write down what it's actually called.
It's called
Let's learn
slave trade.
It's something colon slave trade.
It's
or slave
learn
trade.
history slave trade.
Learn history 2, slave trade.
Yeah, learn history too. Slave trade.
By Serious Games.
That's the best. That's my favorite part. We left that. That's my favorite part.
Serious games. They've also made games about the Palestine, Israeli conflict, and I don't know, some other controversial fucking
Are
thing.
people really genuinely mad about this?
How do you make a game about that? There's not a winner yet.
The game has been out for a couple of years, but apparently what people got all upset about the fact is that Steam offered or the studio itself offered it up as part of a Steam sale recently, and so it was up at the forefront, and so people got reminded that it existed and then started fucking flipping out. Maybe rightfully say.
So
I don't know. I haven't played it. I can't say, but
it was fine a couple of years ago before the internet started getting mad at literally everything. Is what you're saying?
No, the thing though is that it's a small portion of the actual game Slave Trade. That's why everyone's calling it Slave Tetris, because Slave Trade is a game that is trying to teach you about slavery in a very terrible way, not a good way at all.
Quote unquote educational, but not necessarily very educational.
It's not very well done. So
Educational, not effective.
It's kind of like moving around like the newer versions of Oregon Trail where you actually visit the towns and stuff, except you're a slave and everybody talks down to you in a terrible manner. And why do you want to do that? And then they have one specific section of the game where you are a ship owner trying to take
you're the steward. You're the slave steward.
Yeah,
you're the one that loads the ship.
Right. Yeah. And you're trying to load the ship up with as many slaves as you can possibly fit on it so that you can take them to sell them,
and they're all funny shapes.
And they're all shaped like Tetris pieces, but they're slave characters inside the blocks, and you're supposed to fit them into a ship.
I'm seeing a licensing opportunity here, with all these Game of Thrones games that have been coming out. It's they could do a Westeros, Westeros slave trade game where you have to. Anyway.
I get
waiting for my royalty checks.
Always looking at that fucking $sign, buddy. I got to give you credit. Good for you.
Yeah. So were those slave traders.
So it wasn't a feature that I think was at the forefront. It was still kind of a game that people thought was weird, but maybe not everyone reached the Tetris part.
So was this an actual educational game that just has a really poor implementation?
I think that's exactly what it is. And even the designer, former professor from I think a Danish university or something, went on to defend it by saying that yes, we're trying to expose people to the horrors of this by showcasing it in this game and then provide an educational learning experience at the same time. Yes, it is fucking horrible and that's why it works. is essentially like, I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of like it was his defense. He's since deleted his Twitter account, but I don't know. I feel like slavery is one of those things, in almost no matter what context. I'm not going to say it's like the Confederate flag, let's ban it from all games on iTunes kind of context, but that, like rape, like, mass murder, that kind of thing, like, I don't know, maybe we just shouldn't fuck with that. Let's make games about other stuff.
I wouldn't mind an educational game about slavery from, like, if I step back and think about it from a high level. Like, if a game like that came out, if it was done well enough and sensitive enough, then I think it would be perfectly fine. But you're talking about dumbing down all of slavery into Tetris. That's the thing where it's like, are you fucking serious?
It worked well as like a really cool, like, narrative-driven experience, like a first-person narrative game or
like
something.
Make Amistad the game or
if
something.
You're not feeling like if you're not putting someone in there with the emotions that come with what slavery meant and how people dealt with that. And
not to say that any of us have any experience with that, but yes.
No, I'm just saying that's the point, though. That's the educational point. Exactly. If you put me in there and you make me feel all the emotions and gain a level of understanding about what it was like, then I understand what you're doing. But if you're making me fit slavery Tetris pieces on a fucking ship, I'm not learning anything about slavery.
Right. If I get 4 in a row, do I get a Tetris?
Yeah, that was the one thing we watched. Like, what happens when you get a line? Like, what do they...
Which is dumb.
Do you free the slaves?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Oh, my God.
This isn't that far off because
that's why it's a shit mechanic, though. Like, not because we can make dumb jokes, but because, like, literally you can reduce it to that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like a match 3 or something.
Right. It's like, Puzzle Quest Slavery Edition.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's
guys?
all it was.
You know what I mean?
We should all just go play Mount
Like,
Euphrates.
It was very poorly done.
Just very poorly done. You're done. I don't know. It was very odd. Like,
super odd. I don't know. Like, Steam, I feel like, has been very kind of like touch and go with what they're allowing and not allowing. Not that I should be the one to say what they should allow. Like, didn't something come up across the board the other day? Like, they're gonna actually release their first
the uncensored lesbian ghost dating sim.
Yes, which is like has like full on sex scenes and stuff and shit in it. And like, and now there's that's So that's happening. Steam.
Only if you win.
But look, it's kind of cool that there's a venue out there for all sorts of shit. I guess if you're a consumer for that kind of thing. I am of the opinion that maybe this is not necessarily something that should be explored in this kind of context. If you can do it, like you were talking about, Joe, in a tasteful and relevant and meaningful way, sure. Good luck. I would love to see that game. I'm not going to make it, but
overscoped.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Feature creep. I'm just saying. I don't know. I just feel like maybe this shows a little bit of a lack of taste, despite the good intentions, but we all know what the road to hell is paved in, so there you go.
What is the road to hell paved in, Joe?
Yeah.
Yellow bricks.
Good intentions.
Oh, okay.
All right. I think that's going to do it, guys. We weren't long today, but it was worth it. A lot to cover. It's going to do it for us. Episode 61 in the bag. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you please, dear listener, take a minute. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our website, Facebook, Twitter, and join the conversation. Tell your friends, too. Until then, we'll be back next week. Stay tuned for more beer, chatter, and general good times. Guests, giveaways at some point, probably. I don't know. So I do want to say one thing. This is the first time in a long time that the Core 4 have been in the studio together in a while.
Hey,
feels good, man.
How's it going?
Hey, guys. Yeah.
That's weird.
All right. Episode 61. We'll see you next week, everybody.
See you.
Bye.